Daniela with Bestie Life. Thanks so much for joining us today. I am with Amanda Svintescu and Kira Obst of Iron 9 Pilates. They're going to share with us today their journey in becoming business owners, their love of Pilates, friendship, community, and how they find balance with 7 kids between the two of them, and how they've been able to pivot their business during this whole Corona quarantine time. We are actually socially distanced outside today, so you might hear some birds and bees. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I will be right back. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today I have Amanda and Kira of Iron 9 Pilates. They're going to share with us a little bit about what got them into Pilates, a little bit about themselves and their lives, and how they find their bliss. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
So, I don't know how you guys want to start. Maybe share a little bit about each of yourselves.
Sure. I am Kira. I'm Kira Obst and co-owner. What do I call me? The creative goal getter, I think, of Iron 9. My Pilates journey started about 100 years ago. And I was always an athlete, and I did sports growing up. I was mainly a runner. Once I ran cross country and track after I couldn't do basketball anymore because of an injury, and I had kids, and once I had kids I was continuing to run. I didn't love it. I just never got what they said was the runner's high or anything. So, and my knees were kind of hurting, my back was kind of hurting. I started Pilates at a local gym, and it was the first time I'd experienced that runner's high that everybody talked about, just the endorphins flooded, and I knew it was going to be my thing for life. And after a few sessions, I was able to see a waistline after kids, and I quit running and I started doing Pilates twice a week is how I started, and I just totally fell in love. From there, I wanted to know how I could kind of share the love, because I do love athletics and I do love working with people who love working and working out. So that was the beginning of my journey.
Okay. Amanda?
Yeah, it's funny. Our journeys are completely different, which is so amazing because our personalities are different, and which is why we work so good together. So I didn't do any sports growing up. I didn't, if I ran a mile, it was like ingrained in my brain. Like I think I know 2 times that I ran that far. But after I had kids, exercise became a way of stress relief for me. I just was unhappy with the way I felt, with the way I looked. So I started exercising, and I threw myself in way over my head. I worked out extremely way too much, 6 days a week. And I had persistent injuries. And that's when I actually started going to Kira's Pilates classes. She made me a believer. I mean, after doing it 3 times, my back pain was gone. My knees were better. I just seen so many incredible improvements, and that actually just started me, hey, I think I want to start getting into teaching and kind of change my career path. I've been in the healthcare industry. I kind of switched over to the fitness side of it. So yeah, here we are.
Okay, yeah. As a former runner as well, I can totally relate, to wanting to find something that you still kind of got those endorphins, got that physical benefit, but that just didn't hurt anymore, or that mentally didn't feel like it was forced, because then I didn't love to do it, and so I avoided it.
Totally.
So I'll admit, not to be stalkery, but I definitely, before Iron 9, followed both of you at the Y, where you both taught. So maybe share a little bit about your journey from the Y, if that wasn't your first gig, or how you came about maybe to coming up with Iron 9.
Sure. So I started at a local gym. When I decided that I wanted to teach Pilates, I started asking questions, and I thought it was something that you had to get a degree in, that you needed to have at least an exercise science degree, but I thought that personal training and fitness was something that needed the typical formal education. And so I started asking questions just to kind of go about how to do that, and I found out that really it was all certification based. So I started teaching at the local gym under a master trainer, and it was an amazing opportunity. And prior to that, I had the opportunity to, and the privilege, I suppose, of being a stay-at-home mom. And so it was kind of the first way that I was able to like venture back out into the world, and it was perfect. As a new mom, I think I had 2 or 3 kids at the time. As a new mom, I was able to go to the gym for an hour, get paid, talking to people. It was a social thing for me, and also I got to learn in the process. Because I hadn't finished my degree in occupational therapy prior. So then one thing led into another, and my dad actually had told me, hey, have you heard of the Y? It's actually really nice. I was like, Dad, no, YMCAs are not nice. He said, no, really, check it out. Well, I went there, and I loved the nonprofit element to it, and the Y that we went to was big and beautiful, and I just saw relationships and the community that was forming within those walls. And so I ended up teaching Pilates at the Y there. And as Amanda said, that is where I met Amanda.
Okay. That community, obviously, it brought you guys together.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just, when you exercise and sweat together, there's just a different feel. You feel connected to these people. You may not have any other thing in your life that is the same except for you being in that class right now. And that's what makes it so incredibly cool. We worked a lot, and, we both have kids. I have 2 boys. Kira actually has 5 girls.
Wow.
And we were just spending so much time once we got into management and leadership that it just became something that we didn't love anymore. The administrative side, and we were just like, wow, we really just want to teach. And it's funny, we talked about opening a Pilates studio years ago. Like within the first 2 months that we met, we were just kind of inseparable. And then she left me and she went to Texas and came back, and it's just incredible how everything kind of pans out, and if it's meant to be, it will be. And we had this amazing opportunity from one of Kira's friends mentioned somebody who was looking to rent out space. And we said, why not? And we made a decision. I counted the days on the calendar, and I said, we can pull it off. Yeah. We have this many days to get, this licensing and all that. But the biggest thing, I think, is that we wanted to take that community feel and that nonprofit thought behind that and bring it into our community. So, we do things like Pilates with a purpose to help others. And, we worked with people who didn't have the ability to pay. And we just try to make it as easy and accessible to everybody as possible.
Okay.
This could be like 3 hours.
We'll maybe make it into a series of interviews. Obviously, you're both busy moms. Amanda, you have 2 boys. You've got 5 girls. Holy cow, that's a lot to manage. So outside of Pilates, what do you do for you? How do you find your bliss?
That's a good question. Do you know off the top of your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, yeah, if I'm having a really bad day, the boys know, mom needs to do her workout, because Pilates for me, and I know that we all know this already, but it is my number one, because it's also a meditative piece, because you have to really, to get good at it and to get the maximum benefit, you really have to tune into your body and how it feels and where you want it to go, so you can always increase your intensity level by just gaining more body awareness, which is amazing. So I can't really think of anything else when I'm doing it for myself. So that's number one. I'm all about being outside in the great outdoors. We go hiking, we go swimming, we love it. I think getting away and turning things off for a while is a really great one. But I'm not an oil guru or diehard, but I like my oils. I love the scent of them in the morning. If I'm feeling stressed, I do lavender. If I'm just feeling a little less than energetic, it's
essential
lemongrass. Oils.
Yes. Okay. Because the first one you were saying that was oil painting. It was
yes, essential oils. Yeah, should have loved with that one. And I love to garden, and I love to listen to music too.
Okay.
What I've noticed for the biggest self-care part for me is doing something for myself, listening to podcasts and just kind of tuning everything else out.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned so much from Amanda when it comes to self-care and balance and shutting things down. That's, I'd say, one of her strongest points in her personality and character is that when she's in, she's all in. You know, nothing else matters, and that's whether she's, you don't really cook, but when we're together or when she's with her family or on her Sundays. And that's something that it's taken years of our friendship for me to incorporate that more and more in my life. And so I do try to apply what I learned from Amanda, because that is how I find my bliss. You know, a lot of people find God in churches, and a lot of people find God in nature, and, or, you know, universal, whatever your God is, right? And for me personally, I find God in movement. And so I move every day. Whether it's Pilates, of course, or going for a walk or running, really it just connects me to a higher purpose. Then, of course, I love listening to music as well. But what I've really found when I've been applying more and more balance and focus on the tasks at hand is what I really love that I never actually identified with until I've been able to compartmentalize situation to situation is I love being a mom. It is my favorite thing. And so when Iron 9 has had the opportunity, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, to transition from an in-studio Pilates to an online Pilates, like, I think I can speak for both of us that we were like, yes, because that is what we took away from working the typical 9 to 5.
Right.
We took away that, what are these sacrifices that we're making and why? And is there something more?
Right.
And like, is it for us to be able to obtain? And yes, like all of these things. And that's something that together we've always had this vision. Like, I absolutely love cooking for my kids and moving with my kids and doing things that I had otherwise in my previous life had been so scattered, overwhelmed, disorganized that I really couldn't appreciate. And I was really just getting through the motions. So I'd say those are my top two is movement and my kids, and then community, and just in general helping people get healthier.
No, that's great, because I think that's definitely what a lot of, you know, my listeners and audience struggle with, is how to find that balance. You know, they compartmentalize sometimes the different roles and the different kind of quote people that they are, and you know, the fact that you found a way to blend you know, your movement while being a mom without having to be like, okay guys, I'm going to work out, you stay here, as well as incorporating your job and all of that. You know, that's great that you know, kind of self-identified really what helps you find your bliss in that way. You know, because that balance part, you know, and it looks different for everybody, absolutely, but I think being able to know yourself and know that balance for you is where you find your happiness and where you find, you know, what you can sustain long term. So that's great. Now, just curiously, just to back up, because we're talking about movement and physical activity, sometimes I think some women get intimidated or they shut down based on whether it's injuries or physical ability or size or things like that. They feel like, I can't do that. It's not approachable, or it doesn't fit them. Just curiously, what would you say to someone where that's kind of their objection to exercise or to movement or hearing this? How do you help them to embrace or feel like they can own that a little bit?
That's one of the joys of us making this transition online, because really now we've taken all those things that might be uncomfortable for somebody and eliminated them. You don't need any equipment. So cost factor, storage factor, any of it is really not there. You can, if you really want individual attention, you can personal train with us, but you can join a group class. And if you're not comfortable having your camera on, you can absolutely leave it off. We offer different levels. The thing about Pilates is it really is accessible to everybody. I've done Pilates for people who couldn't get on the floor before in a chair. We work pretty extensively the past year with Roswell to train some of their teens that have been through cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, but we also have triathletes and marathon runners and people that do things that I dream about doing physically. So it really, again, it comes down to that mind-body and choosing the right level and going in there with an open mind. And we're available before and after class, have that chat box, so we want to know if somebody has an injury, and we'll let them know. You know, we're used to that. If somebody has a hip or wrist or any kind of injury, we'll make those modifications.
And I will add on that I think when we talk to people and we say that invite them to come join our community and invite them to try a Pilates class, one of the top things people say is that they are either not flexible enough or, oh, I'm not strong enough. I can't even do a push-up. And my response every single time is, you're not supposed to be good at something. This is a lesson, right? You're supposed to come in to gain and to take away from. I couldn't do a push-up until I was 27 years old. And that was even while I was teaching Pilates classes, right? So you don't need to come as anything other than yourself. And that's something that we want to get that message across so strongly. I want my mom to be there. I want my dad to be there. I also want my teenage daughter to be there. I want people to come as they are, because what they are and what they have is already enough to be able to walk into a class and start achieving goals.
Okay. So what stresses you out? Like, obviously, you know, you guys are doing amazing with so many things, but I think sometimes, you know, we think everyone else has it all together and the only one maybe that's not managing or not balancing. Like, are there areas that do still stress you out?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we have, technology, first of all, that is actually, now I know, technology is what stresses me out, because you don't have the control over these things. Like, sometimes if it's down, and there is nothing we can do besides call and text and smile at everybody. You know, it's just part of life. So, you know, those unpredictable little factors. But second to that, I think what would stress me out the most is just having things having to be done over my head. And, you know, I've really worked on that. 3 years ago, I would have worked myself into the ground, and I worked 60 hours a week just because of that. But it's not so much of a factor anymore. It's just those unpredictable things that we really can't control. You know, you can't control what the state's going to say. You can't control if Zoom goes down. It's, you know, so, but then you also have to learn to roll with it. So
What stresses me out is when technology is down and it puts Amanda in a bad mood. Amanda's bad mood stresses me out.
Amanda's your bliss and your bad mood.
I love it. We are the perfect yin and yang.
yang.
Yes. Yeah, technology doesn't stress me out as much, but that's fair to be able to say. It's because Amanda is so thorough and so detail oriented that I am spoiled with having her by my side. But what stresses me out in life in general and beyond business is something recently that I've achieved because I hate the feeling of stress, and so I take stress and put it towards good, is being in debt. I hate being in debt. It's very, very, very stressful, and a lot of life transitions in the past few years ended me up in a pretty significant amount of debt, and it was a very stressful time. I mean, I remember last summer I couldn't afford sunscreen, so this summer I'm all about sunscreen because I feel like a wealthy woman, right? And recently I got out of debt, and
Congratulations.
well, thank you. But knowing that our hard work pays off, our discipline pays off, all of these things that seem impossible, like stress is real, but it's also how you handle it is a choice in terms of discipline and setting goals and actively working towards those things. So that stresses me out. Whining kids stress me out. I really hate whining kids, and I love when Amanda's in a good mood all the time.
Did you say then, we might have done this a little bit, but what are kind of the top 3 things you're grateful for, what I like to call your G? What's your 3G, your 3 most grateful things?
I'm going to just say, first and foremost, my family. You know, my boys bring me so much joy, so much happiness. If I could list them all 3, that would be great. You know, I'm also grateful just for Kira and our business and our opportunity to grow together and the ability to adapt. You know, I'm thankful for my health. You know, I've had a few scares in the past, and, you know, so is my husband, and just seeing my kids being healthy and well adjusted and our health being good, can't really ask for too much more.
Yeah, I am so grateful for my kids. They are the substance of my life, and so that's my number one. I'm also so grateful for Amanda and our business and our friendship, because we knew that going into business together, we risk our friendship. Like, we were very well aware of that. And we've somehow managed to, and grown through being able to be good at both and get better at both and keep them together and keep them separate. I'm
Right.
so grateful for that and the lessons that I've taken from our partnership and our friendship. And then third, I'm grateful for my support systems. I'm blessed to have family, community, friends, and our clients. People who are always cheering us on, whether it's from afar or, hands-on or whatever. And gratitude is definitely a practice that I actively instill in my house. So every single morning, I've trained myself for years on this. Every single morning before I'm even fully conscious, I say, thank you, whomever, thank you, God, thank you, universe, for this day and for my kids. Yesterday, actually, was my youngest daughter's birthday, and she said, or her older sister said, wouldn't it be awesome if every single day was your birthday? And so she was saying, so every day is February 23rd. It was the daughter's birthday who was saying it. And I said, well, wouldn't it be kind of, boring after a while? And it really did get me thinking that fourth thing I'm grateful for is that every single day we have a new opportunity. We have an opportunity. Every day is a birthday. It doesn't get boring. We take it for granted that we're not in one long day for our life. And so I'm grateful for being able to taking past things and applying them to future things to get better.
Those are great. Absolutely. You're helping to reinforce all the things that I share and talk about, because these are the things that a little bit each day, and realizing these things is how we kind of ultimately bring it together to find your bliss. So I've got two more quick things. So one, I know you have both kind of alluded a little bit, so you pivoted the business during this whole quarantine-y kind of stuff and gone from a studio now to completely virtual. Is that correct? And I'll have a link along with the podcast and on my website to share so that you ladies and everybody else out there can check out Iron 9 Pilates and, see what they have to offer. They've got some great workshops and programs and, packages that you can get, which I think will be fantastic. If there's anything that you want to add to what I just said to that, what am I missing? How do I pitch your business the best?
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, come as you are, and you don't need anything. You can have grass or a basement floor or your bed. It doesn't matter. The bed is going to be challenging, but so if you want a good workout,
it's like a stability ball.
Better do it. Yeah, exactly. Better do it on your mattress. But yeah, to pivot means that you keep one foot planted and you're able to go around in different areas, right? Like I was a basketball player, and that's what I take away from a pivot. And nothing about what we're doing has changed the core of us. Our mission statement is all about versatility and balance and community and growth. And that hasn't changed. All we're doing is a new platform. And that doesn't mean that we miss out on any of the elements that we are so strong in our foundation. And so, yeah, we personal train online and we do classes online, and we're ebbing and flowing, and we're doing on-demand videos. So if people can't make it to the class times, or they want to try it at midnight, try Pilates at midnight, they're able to do that.
Okay, all right. And then music. You've both mentioned as well that music was one of your things. So what is your go-to I gotta get motivated song that, like, I'll share? I'm a cheesy 90s girl. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations would be my go-to song. So, like, if you had to share, what's your go-to motivating song?
For motivating, I can't pick one, but I would have to say Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
Showing my age, I know. But you can't not smile and listen to that song.
Oh, yes, I can.
And then there's a good bass to it.
Well, right now, anyone who's been to my classes in the month of June or July knows I'm on a Miley Cyrus kick. And that one is deep.
How is that worse?
I was blasting Miley on the way here, actually.
Specific songs for each of those artists? Or?
Yes, but that is not my go-to song. Okay. My go-to is Macklemore. I love the song Glorious.
Okay.
I overplay it and subject people to it, but it's powerful and it's victorious. And it says, like, you have the chance to start again. Like, that's my go-to for everything. It takes me out of a bad mood. It ramps me up when I know I need to perform for something. I love it.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Kira and Amanda, for joining us today on Bestie Life.
Thank you so much, Daniela.
We appreciate having you guys. So this is Daniela. Thank you so much again for joining us on Bestie Life, my interview with Amanda and Kira from Iron 9 Pilates. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. DM me any questions you have or any specific topics you want to hear about. Also, if you could please just leave me a 5-star review that helps so that more people can hear the Bestie Life. And check out Iron 9 Pilates. You see the link on my website and in this video so that you can check out some Pilates classes and help find maybe some different outlets to live your best life and find the bliss in your busy. So thanks so much.